Quick disclaimer for everybody watching this video. When I recorded it, I was a little nervous. It's my first movie review. So like when I was, going through it, I wasn't drinking no water, no breaks. I was just going, trying to finish it up. And because of that, bro, my mouth was severely dry. So forgive me for the dry mouth, crusty lips. Hopefully y'all could still rock with me. Maybe y'all won't pay no attention to that. I love y'all. That's not the point of the video. Pay attention. Let's get right into it. What's good? What's going on YouTube? It is your boy Natiboi back with another video. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I want to welcome you all to the first, but not the only, Natiboi reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing a movie that I just saw on the 17th, man, in the Spider-Man No Way Home. You guys might have seen it, might have not seen it. I'm going to do a spoiler-free section and then we're going to get straight into the movie, you feel me? Let's get into it, baby. I know this isn't a gaming video, but with an entity as big as Spider-Man, he is a big part of gaming. In Fortnite, they just added Spider-Man. He's got this amazing swinging. We can't forget about the Insomniac Spider-Man, which really represents how it feels to play as Spider-Man. Great game. Wish I could play it. Haven't played it yet. No PS5. He's also part of the MCU and the new Avengers game. Spider-Man's been a big part of my life. I used to read the comic books, watch the old TV shows, any animated series, every movie. I was him every year for Halloween at a certain point, bro. You could tell from the thumbnail, that was me. That's your boy. My love for superheroes comes from my father, dude. No offense, but my dad was the pioneer of this black nerd. I remember watching countless classics on VHS in our living room on our fatback TV. The one with the big booty, you feel me? My dad put me on a Spider-Man, Superman, Daredevil, Bruce Lee, and all those kung fu movies that are badly, dubbed. Hello, you are doomed. Let us fight. And as a young kid, I really took to all these things that he used to like, and now they're a big part of me. It is spoiler time. We are finna get straight into the movie. So if you have not seen the movie, I would suggest you click off this video, go to the theater, go watch it, and I'll be waiting for you when you come back. Hey, you're back now. Let's get it. The movie starts off right after Far From Home. Mysterio has framed Spider-Man for his murder and also given up his identity to the public. Now everyone looks at Peter Parker like he's responsible. With everyone knowing Peter's secret, his life has been altered greatly, as well as the people he's close to. MJ, his best friend Ned, Aunt May, even the Avengers. The next scene's really cool. Matt Murdock, aka the Daredevil from the Netflix series, has a cameo in this film. If you didn't know, he's a lawyer in his day job. His night job, he's obviously the Daredevil. And around this point in the film, he becomes Peter Parker's lawyer and helps the family get all charges dropped. Everyone in the theater started clapping when he came on screen, as they did with every other cameo from these Marvel superstars that kept showing up in the movie. We all felt like one big family and we were all here to see the same people, Before Matt had came around, Spider-Man was being essentially canceled for the death of Mysterio. It gave you an introspective look at the cancel culture that we see today. Spider-Man was misunderstood, but the presence of media was able to overshadow Peter Parker's voice, leaving him to be ostracized by many. There's a funny scene where Spider-Man is pushing through a big crowd that's surrounding MJ for her affiliation with him. As he's pushing through, there's a woman with her cell phone, and he sort of bumps into her ever so lightly, just sort of his shoulder rubs past hers. And this woman goes, "Spider-Man hit me. Did y'all see that? He hit me, y'all." Basically,
Oh, he calling me a liar. Facebook Live. Say it again. It's a Facebook Live. You going viral. You going viral. He going viral. You going viral. Okay.
Spider-Man had dealt with a lot of villains before this, but he ain't never dealt with a Karen. You feel me? On another level. As for the relationship between Peter and MJ, it was very youthful and came off sincere. Maybe because it was. Even though all the charges were dropped, Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker, was still facing ridicule. The last straw for him was when MJ, himself, and Ned were not allowed into universities because of their relationship to Peter Parker. Peter Parker, feeling guilty for his friends, decided to take the matter into his own hands. This is where things start getting strange. He goes to see the Sherlock Holmes actor, Dr. Strange, aka Benedict Cumberbatch, in hopes that he has a spell to reverse back time before everyone knew his identity, so his friends were not affected by his own mistakes. Even though Dr. Strange talks about how dangerous this is, how he can't do it because of the risk, and even if he wanted to, he couldn't because he didn't have the time stone, he ends up doing a pretty similar spell, erasing everyone's memory of Peter Parker, everyone. Obviously, Peter has an issue with his loved ones forgetting him, as we all would, and as Strange casts this spell, Peter is consistently interrupting him, being like, "Wait, can MJ remember me? Can Aunt May remember me? Can Ned remember me? Can the Avengers remember?" It's just like stop, bro. you're fucking up the spell. And he does fuck up the spell, and the spell breaks out, and you know, Strange does some shit to contain it, but what he doesn't know is that he didn't contain it in time. Some motherfucker still got through. And during the spell casting, Peter says his reasoning, and it's because he wants to get his friends into college. Strange said, okay, so you disputed them and they said no, I see why you're doing this. And Peter was like, wait, you can just call them up and dispute the cancellation? And he's like, boy, if you didn't ask that shit? He is heated, dog. Strange is heated, bro. He was gonna kill Peter himself, turn into Sherlock Holmes, and then solve the mystery. He couldn't believe Peter came to him first to change the motherfucking universe before simply just asking a question, you know? Later, Peter meets with the admissions advisor of the university on the freeway while she's on the way to the airport. This is where shit starts to go down. Shortly after, Peter is greeted by Doc Ock and Green Goblin for a moment, both being villains from the Raimi trilogy. Otto Octavius called back classic lines from the previous films. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand. I should have killed your little girlfriend when I had the chance. You know, all those classic ones, bro. I got a kick out of it, and it definitely tapped that nostalgia for me. Your boy wanted to motherfucking cry, okay? Especially since I'm a big fan of the Tobey Spider-Man community that basically takes every piece of dialogue from those 3 movies and makes them into hilarious edits and memes. Spider-Man is able to capture Doc Ock. When Doc Ock grabs him, Spider-Man's wearing his, you know, Iron Spider suit that has nanobots. The nanobots cover Doc Ock's arms, you feel me? And then Peter overrides Doc Ock's system with the nanobots, and now he's in control of the arms. And, you know, he puts Doc Ock basically in an octopus straitjacket, you know? Feel me? He's like that. The Green Goblin is able to get away. After saving the admissions advisor's life on the bridge, she is so grateful and forever in debt to Peter that she wants to go talk to the board of directors at MIT and get Peter, MJ, and Ned all up in there. Peter brings Otto back to Dr. Strange, who is with MJ and Ned in his, you know, wizard's dungeon. And Strange had already captured one multiverse entity. Curtis Connors, aka the Lizard, was already there in captivity. Strange then informs Peter and his, you know, gang of fairly ne'er-do-wells to bring back all of the multiverse entities back to this captivity zone, where Strange will send them all back with just
a wave of my magic wand. Your troubles will soon be gone.
They automatically get sent back to the wizard's dungeon. Now that Peter was on the hunt for multiverse monsters, next up was Electro. After a tip from a police report of a flying monster, Peter is now out on the hunt. Once Spider-Man gets to the area that the monster was seen, some interesting things start happening below Spider-Man unbeknownst to him. The floor is moving like a tremor is running through it. You start seeing dirt. I don't even know what to call it. It ends up being Flint Marko, aka the Sandman, who actually aids Spider-Man in stopping Electro. He does this because at the end of Spider-Man 3, him and Spider-Man basically make up and forgive each other. So he's trying to help out who he thinks is his Peter Parker. So they get to fighting, Electro sucking up all the energy from the close by electric towers. So Sandman, you know, starts doing a little sandstorm around Electro, covering him up as Spider-Man on the electrical tower, pulling it out. Every streamer in a fucking 30-mile radius stream just shut down, bro.
All I need is a love tonight. Раз, два, три.
Like that, kaput. In this universe, Electro said he feels more powerful. And once they, you know, captured him in the sand and took away his power, he's actually able to turn back into a human. Electro's played by Jamie Foxx, and there's this funny scene where he says, so y'all just gonna act like I'm not standing here butt-ass naked? Jamie has a ton of comedic relief in this movie, which I honestly feel was a crutch. There were so many characters in this movie, it was too hard to lean deep into any single one of them. Now Electro and Sandman are back to the dungeon. A few of the Raimi villains and the Mark Webb villains start having a dialogue between each other, giving MJ, Peter, Ned, Strange all further backstory into who they are. The Green Goblin had previously escaped from the bridge after showing himself, you know, throwing a couple of gobstoppers at them. And now there's a scene where William Dafoe, Green Goblin, is in an alley having an inner monologue with himself, his darker presence that wants him to be the Green Goblin. And for a moment, he is able to break free from this dark presence as he smashes the iconic Green Goblin mask and walks away from it. Later, learning that he walks into a shelter that Aunt May works at, because he feels lost in this universe. His home is occupied, his business no longer exists, and his son, nowhere to be found. Peter rushes over immediately once he finds out, thinking he's got to kick some ass, but Aunt May tells Peter that he should be helping Norman and that Peter should have a change of heart and try being more selfless, and she wants him to try and do the best thing for them and not himself. Norman seems to be on the straight and narrow and just wants to fix his life. No funny business. So Peter brings Norman back to the dungeon without, cuffing him or sending him straight into the captivity. But when Strange sees him, he's like, oh, hell no. Puts him in there. Movie is over, right? This is the end. We captured all the villains. It's time to send him back. Mission complete. But no, Peter has had a change of heart thanks to Aunt May. And now he has an issue that when some of these villains get sent back to their universe, they will die. They previously learned when all the villains were talking with each other that, Doc Ock was already dead. Green Goblin already dead. Electro already dead. And he didn't want to kill these people, which I thought was pretty stupid. It's not like you're killing them. I agreed more with Doctor Strange. He basically said their fate is their fate. If they die, be. Dead ass. Doctor Strange has the spell contained in a little box doohickey, and he's just about done as he's like, Rubik's cubing it up. Then a little fucking thing pops out like a little button. He's finna press it. Just then, Spider-Man steals that shit from him. And then Doctor Strange and Peter get into this crazy fight in the mirror dimension, which Peter eventually beats him with the power of geometry. Explain that for me. This is the point in the movie when parents looked over at their kids and said, see, even Spider-Man pays attention in class. Peter traps Strange in the mirror dimension, takes the little square doohickey and his magical ring that he's, opening portals with. He divvies it up with his crew. MJ gets the box, Ned gets the ring. Peter explains to the villains now that he can help cure them and send them back to their universe unharmed if they help him. With not much of a choice, they agree. Peter then takes all the villains to the place where he's staying at, which belongs to Happy Hogan, who works for the Avengers and is also dating Aunt May. Peter has Norman help him. There is a fabricator in Happy's apartment that is powered by like the Stark reactor, like the shit he keeps on his heart. Electro's got his eyes on it and he's like, ooh, that shit giving me energy, dog. And Norman's on his science shit. He's like digging Peter. He's like, if you ever need a job and you want to commute to a different universe, I got you, dog. And it's like this cool bonding moment. You're like, man, this shit is really changing. Norman's a good guy, man. He misses his son. He sees what he wants in a son in you, because he obviously don't want Harry. They fabricate a new inhibitor chip for Dr. Octopus and they successfully cure him, and now he's no longer got voices in his head. He's in control of the arms. He's all good. He's back to being like, Peter, I love science. Norman, you're great. They create this little thing for Electro that like drains his electricity. I don't know if it's like by will, like he just turns it off when he wants to be human, goes into a monster, but I think it just like contains it like forever and then he doesn't get to be Electro. Who knows? But he wasn't really digging it. He was nervous. There was like a timer on it and it was counting down and he was like, and just as they are completing Electro's transformation, Peter's spidey senses kick in. It turns out that Norman's dark presence has come back and he was about to betray Peter. He was able to get Electro on his side with his, villain monologue like, we take what we want. We ain't no simps. Is you a wimp? Electro obviously be like, I ain't pussy. He rips the device off and a brawl just fucking breaks loose, dog. Aunt May runs down. She's running out of the bottom floor. Electro's fighting motherfucking Doc Ock because he's a good guy now, calling him a simp and shit. And, Peter, Norman, they get a cracking. The Lizard's down waiting in the truck because, he's a freak. He can't come up in here. And he fucking breaks out the truck. He's out. He knew shit was happening. They're fighting like it's motherfucking Injustice. They're fucking socking people through the floor, throwing them up through the ceiling, like going different levels. They're finally at the bottom floor towards the end of the fight. And this is when Norman tries to get in Peter's head. Also, side note, Aunt May is down there waiting for him. I forgot what she was doing. And she's just like, no, Peter, like, oh, he's okay. I guess she's just overseeing, hoping he's okay. And Norman is talking to him, trying to get in his head and distract him, which he does. He pulls a motherfucking Spider-Man 1 trick. Godspeed, Spider-Man. He's got the glider behind Aunt May and Peter. He fucking sends that shit while he's talking that shit. Fucking knocks Aunt May down. Now Norman is able to get away while Spider-Man is consoling his poor dead aunt. He no longer has any family. Aunt May, Uncle Ben, both gone. Sad. Rest in peace. Happy, they got your girl, dog. This shit is sad. Happy's finna be very unhappy. On the other side of it, while all this is happening, MJ and Ned are waiting for a signal from Peter. As they were told, if anything goes wrong or they do not hear from him, press the little button on the doohickey to fucking do the spell and send everyone back. Fuck if they die or not. We don't give a fuck. Since they were extremely worried and hadn't heard from Peter thinking something happened, MJ and Ned start bumping heads like, hey, I think I should press it. What should I do? I think I gotta press it. I don't know. I'm gonna press it. Ned replies to an anxious MJ saying, I wish we could just see him. And behind him, when he says that, now there's a little portal swirling behind him and shit, okay? The little Doctor Strange shit. And it's because Ned's got that magical 2-finger pimp ring on from Doctor Strange. After MJ sees this, she's like, do it again. He hits his mantra. I wish we could see Peter Parker. A motherfucking portal opens up, and guess who it is? There is a Spider-Man in the distance. They see Spider-Man by the, you know, big white eyes, and they're like, Peter, Peter, come here. Oh, I just slapped myself in the face. But they're like, Peter, Peter, come here. Peter starts running through, jumps in, and guess who it is, dude? Andrew Garfield. It's the Spidey suit I hate the most. You know, he rips the mask off, and it's like, what's up? The audience cheers. MJ and Ned, they're baffled. Like, who is this Peter Parker? We don't know you. While they grill him about who he is and why he's here, he has to like prove he's Spider-Man. He sticks to the ceiling. He crawls up and fucking gets a cobweb for them. She's throwing bread at him, being like, do you have the tingle? And he's like, yeah, I got the tingle in my motherfucking pimp hand. As he's proving himself, Ned and MJ keep trying to see the Peter they know, but they do another portal, and guess who it is? Out comes out the motherfucking king, Tobey Maguire, dude. The crowd goes absolutely crazy. All the boomers get wet. My eyes start tearing up because my nigga Tobey is actually here, dog. First thing I thought was Tobey is looking much older these days, you know? Looked like he had a couple spider kids, hatched a couple of spider eggs, you feel me? What can you expect though? He was around Tom's age back in the 2000s, so, you know. The two Spider-Mans are now informed that this is not their universe and there is a different Spider-Man here. They insist from Tobey and Andrew that they need some help. The Spider-Men, you know, think together. They're like, well, you know, when I need to think, I like to go somewhere high and just, you know, sit and visualize. And like, does Tom have anywhere he likes to do that? MJ's like, I got it. And they're off. I don't know if they took Ned and MJ on their backs and swung over there because they get on the rooftop. They probably did. I wonder who took Ned, because Andrew Loki, he was showing some favoritism to MJ. I don't know, bro. Tom, watch your girl. The four find Tom. MJ and Ned console Peter because, you know, they find out that his aunt had died. But then the other Spider-Man tried to step in and introduce and, you know, try to relate and say they're sorry. Tom's like, you don't know what the fuck it's like. And I'm thinking like, they definitely know what it's like, nigga. They are you. Like, your uncle is dead too, fool. They relate with this moment where Tom's like, you wouldn't know, because when my aunt said with great power comes, and then the other two are like, great responsibility. They're shocked. Andrew, you know, goes to tell about Gwen and how she passed away. He's doing a really good job crying. I was watching him like, this is some good acting, man. This nigga's finna cry, bro. And then Tobey, he goes to talk about Uncle Ben. He looks sad. He does his little Tobey face, you feel me? They challenge Tom to let them help him do the right thing, being that Tobey and Andrew themselves have faced a very similar tragedy. With his newfound spider support team, the Spider Bros brainstorm on helping Tom continue to get the cure for these villains. There's a bunch of great moments in this scene where the three Spider-Mans are getting to know each other and share their experiences. It's really funny. There's a moment when they're talking about webbing, and Tobey, he's the only one who doesn't have to use web shooters, so they're super infatuated.
Why?
They go on to ask if it only comes out of his wrist, or, you know, does it come out somewhere else where it naturally comes out of spiders. That was really funny. Had me and my girlfriend cracking up. It's a question we've all asked about Spider-Man, or at least thought about. After completing the cures for each of the villains, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Men are off to save the day. But just before they go out, Tobey, he had came into the universe as Peter, not dressed as, you know, Spider-Man. He's like, you know, I usually don't tell people I'm Spider-Man, you feel me? So, you know, Andrew asked him, are you gonna stay dressed as some cool youth pastor, or are you gonna suit up, dog? You know, Spider-Man pulls it down. He's got the suit right there. So they're like, oh. So now we're getting towards the final battle, you feel me? Tom Holland fucking, I guess, goes live with the news while Jonah Jameson is talking shit about him. And he basically says he's sorry to the public and to the villains. He basically is like, man, I got this motherfucking box and I could have been killed all y'all asses, but I didn't. And if y'all want to stay in this universe, you got to come take this shit from me, dog. Pry it from my cold, dead fingers. And unbeknownst to these villains, you know, they didn't know he had a gang with him. Before the villains arrive, there's another funny scene between Tobey and Andrew. They're waiting for Tom's signal, and they're playing off Tobey's age. You know, he's a bit older, so he's doing a lot of stretches, trying to get limber. He's like, oh.
You okay?
My back stiff from all the swinging, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, I got a middle back thing too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
All the age jokes, I'm totally here for those. Those are very funny. Andrew goes on to, you know, talk about the natural webbing and how he's so impressed that he can do this and doesn't have to create it from a lab. He asks Spider-Man, like, how do you do it? Toby, he replies like, what do you mean? I don't do breathing. It comes naturally. And by this time, you know, the villains show up and it's time to get down. Electro is stronger than ever. He shows up with that Tony Stark reactor and he's like, I love the power. Give me that motherfucking box. I ain't going back. This is my hood. The Sandman is there. He wants the box because he simply wants to go back to his universe and see his daughter Penny. While, you know, these two green guys, they're just here to fuck shit up. 3 Spider-Men trade blows with each of the villains for a little bit and they're actually getting their asses handed to them. Spider-Man is down 1-0 right now. Andrew and Toby aren't used to fighting in a team. They're solo Spider-Mans. Like, I like it, you feel me? So, you know, Tom has to flex his Avengers card like, I was in a team, bro. I'm in the Avengers. They reply like, what is that, a rock band, bro? Like, they're not getting him. So Tom comes up with a game plan and he's like, we need to work in unison, take out one enemy at a time, put our motherfucking heads together, you know? Smart. First they nail Sandman, which is hard. It's like, how do you give antidote to sand? It was like some light shit. Next they nail Curtis Connor. He tries to bite a motherfucker. He puts that antidote in his mouth, cracks it open, some gas blows up. You know, niggas butt naked now, regular doctor. You know, but just before they captured Curtis Connor, what's his name was trying to take the box, you know?
Buzzing all the punches out the box. I just hit the thick with the box. Had to put the thick in the box.
Ned, he opened up a portal from the dungeon, the magical dungeons. They were trying to stay safe, but, you know, join the action. They were trying to, you know, grab it and they couldn't. Throughout the whole fight, they're trying to close the portal and they're like, fuck. So during then, the lizard comes in and he comes into the dungeon, chasing them. They run out onto the Statue of Liberty where the fight is going on. And the lizard follows them back. He's trying to fuck them up. And he actually sort of like knocks MJ off of the Statue of Liberty and she's falling. Peter jumps after her, but guess who fucking shows up? Green Goblin, man, fucking swipes that boy off of his route while he's trying to save his girl. Sort of like Spider-Man 3 when he was, you know, reaching for the wedding ring. As Zendaya falls to her, you know, impending doom, Andrew sees this and it hits a chord because, you know, his love of his life fucking fell and he couldn't save her. Or, you know, maybe he wants to steal your girl, Tom. We don't know. Andrew dives and saves her, and this was the, you know, clip from the trailer where you saw the hand reaching out for Zendaya's, and everyone's like, is that Andrew? I think there's gonna be 3 Spider-Mans. Y'all were right. You know, he's at the bottom and he's like holding her and he's like crying. He's like, I miss my shorty, man. Like, it was touching. He said, are you okay? Like, with it, like while crying, he's like, are you okay? And she's like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. You know, very touching, bro. Shit got me a little, my lip did quiver, you feel me? I was like, and then that boy, Otto Octavius shows up and he's just down for the squad. He's helping out the good guys. And he actually stops them, he helps them get Electro because he's like trying to stop them. So fucking Doc Ock sends that little spike out of his claws, out the palm of his hand and fucking stabs the electric thing and pulls it off. And you know, they're able to fucking beat up Electro now. And now the only person left is the Green Goblin. And he had, you know, taking Tom away on his glider when he was trying to save Zendaya. So they're off to the side doing a little fisticuffs. As they're in this fist fight, Norman is trying to do the head games, mind games, and play into the guilt that Tom feels and chastise him for his aunt being dead. He's basically saying like, yeah, we smoking on your auntie, it's your fault. This shit's tough. So, you know, Peter, he goes Super Saiyan and he's like wailing on this map. Bah, bah. Norman is like obviously doing the villain thing where it's like you laugh as you're getting socked. Like, how do you laugh and a nigga's socking you in your teeth? What the fuck? He goes on to say like, Peter Parker, too weak to let me die. And you know, he ain't having that. He's like, nah, bro, I just wanted to kill you myself. He picks up the motherfucking glider. Everyone's watching. Norman's like, do it. I want you to hit me. Come on. And right before he fucking plunges this glider straight into Norman, you know, Toby swings in the nick of time, fucking stops him. He's doing the Toby struggle face. He's like, he's looking into Tom's eyes like, nigga, don't do it. Don't do it. This is a case, bruh. You just got off papers. As Tom's head, you know, he's like, yeah, you right. Let me chill. Green Goblin, he's got Toby's back facing him. He fucking stabs him in the back. Toby falls down. I'm like, no, they killed nigga Toby, right? You brought him back just to kill him forever? Fuck y'all. As Green Goblin is just about to get the last laugh, I forgot exactly how they did it, but I think like Andrew Garfield swings in and throws the antidote to Tom. I forgot exactly the quick moments, but Andrew Garfield does throw the antidote to Tom. And he fucking stabs it violently into his neck, like hard as shit. Like he could have just killed him with the antidote. And now the Green Goblin is, he's thinking straight and he's like, what have I done? He regrets his actions as he's asking for forgiveness. And now that, you know, that's settled, They move on to Toby. They ask how he's doing. He replies, "Oh yeah, I've been stabbed lots of times," which is good. And I was like, okay, my boy Toby's not gonna die. And throughout the fight, when they were opening all those portals, Doctor Strange, and throughout the fight, when Ned was opening all those portals, trying to, you know, get the box back and then get back to the dungeon, they had actually let Strange out of the mirror dimension. He comes back and he's like, "Where's the box?" He takes the box and he's like, "Did you just do magic?" And it's sort of hinting like, is Ned finna be in the Doctor Strange movie as like a magic guy? Who knows? And in the aftermath, you know, the universe and the sky is starting to split and shit's starting to come in. So Doctor Strange is here. He's trying to contain it. You know, fight's over. Peter's like, "Hey, do you think you could just do that one spell where you were about to erase everyone's memory? I don't give a damn now. Like, I just want everyone to be safe. I've lost too much and I was being selfish. I gotta be more selfless." Strange agrees, and now Peter's saying his goodbyes. He has a heartfelt moment with the Spider Bros before he sends them off, as well as a heartbreaking moment with MJ and Ned when they figure out that they won't be able to remember him. Now time's up. All the multiverse entities are sent back to their respective universes. I think now they'll be alive, which is interesting, and they'll be like good people. And then it cuts to moving on into the future. And now Ned and MJ don't remember him. Peter's now in a shitty apartment because he doesn't live where Aunt May used to live because, you know, she's now gone. Happy Hogan, he's not living with him because he doesn't know who he is. So he's got to get his own apartment. The guy's like, "Rent's due in a week, don't be late." This was actually a good chance for y'all to get a Mr. Dickovich cameo, bro. Like, I can't believe you just fumbled the bag on that. Peter then goes to the graveyard to pay Aunt May some respects. He sees Happy Hogan there. They talk about how they know each other, which this part really confuses me because he says, "I know her through Spider-Man." So it's like, why wouldn't you just say like, "I'm her nephew"? Like, what's the problem with that? Why would you say you know her through Spider-Man? Because then he's gonna be like, "She knows Spider-Man?" Like, what the fuck are you, like, what? Like, that makes no sense. Happy is distraught, you know, because he loved Aunt May. And basically Peter is like, he repeats some stuff Aunt May said to him, or I think MJ said it, and he's just basically like, there's a silver lining to this, dog. We got to keep moving, do what they wanted us to do. We can't be out here sad lacking. That's not what they wanted. Peter then goes to see MJ and Ned, and he's basically got this little, he's basically got like some notes that he wrote, and he's gonna try to jog MJ's memory on some 50 First Dates type shit. Instead, when he sees her, he notices she has like this band-aid from this cut that she got during the fight. So he's like, damn, so it's like still the same her. Like, and so he trails back instead of using the note card to jog her memory. Instead, he just orders a coffee and he's just like staring at her like, and she's like, "Is there anything else I can get you?" And he's just like, "You're beautiful, it's true." After that, you know, he just dips and the movie ends with, you know, a classic swinging scene. Then he gets hella close to the camera. Ooh, fade to black. Fade to black. But the movie ain't over. You know, if you watch the credits, in a lot of superhero movies, they like to add an extra scene right after the credits. They trying to, you know, leave some people out. The people who stay after them, we the exclusive niggas, I get to see the extra shit. The scene was of Venom. Tom Hardy, you know, from the Venom series. It's like, aren't you the same superhero who got the soundtrack from motherfucking Eminem? Venom. Again, another Marvel movie cameo, was pretty sick. The scene was of Eddie Brock. He's at a bar in presumably Mexico. He's talking to this bartender about like, you know, he doesn't believe this shit in this universe. He's like, there's aliens. Like, what are you talking about? An alien that loves stones? The bartender's like, yeah, he took my family away for 5 years. He's like, 5 years? That means pretty long. Maybe you're telling the truth. It's like, the whole time, it's like, how do you not believe in aliens? Nigga, you are talking to a monster inside of your like stomach. Like Venom's over here inside talking about like, we are the bad guys. Like, corny as shit, bro. Eventually, this is probably around the part where, you know, Doctor Strange sends everyone back because, you know, Eddie Brock over in Mexico, he, you know, does the fade to white, like Flash, disintegrate shit. He's out of here. But then they pan down to, you know, the bar that he was sitting at, and he left a little black piece of goo. And then it cuts to black. So it's like, are you gonna have another multiverse live action movie and have Venom in it now? Like, I'm confused. Like, Venom stayed because his shit's still here, and maybe you gotta call Peter and Andrew back to come help you? That's my guess. Overall, man, I really enjoyed this movie. I could not stop smiling. It was so good to see my boy Toby back and just relive all that Spider-Man shit. Like, cause sometimes I just watch those Spider-Man movies and I'm just like, bro, this was a good time, bro. I was a kid, man. This shit was magical. But I will not let my Spider-Man fandom stop me from critiquing the film. The story, just like the third film in the Raimi trilogy, it had a little bit too much going on, in my opinion. Too many big characters. They definitely didn't dive into them enough. Like Lizard, he got no shine. That nigga was a background dancer. I didn't give a fuck about that boy. The main real villains were like Doc Ock. They were fucking with him, a little bit Electro, and Otto. My advice is, like, if you're making a movie and you plan to do a sequel, don't put all the shit in one movie. Like, separate it. That means we can get more into just those few things, and then the next movie you got more few things, and then you still got ideas left to go. Sequel. That's how you make your money, bro. Don't do it all in one. Like, why would I make a sandwich that looks like a Scooby-Doo sandwich stacked up this high with motherfucking ham, peanut butter and jelly, and a whole motherfucking roast, when I could eat like a small good sandwich, like a BLT or something, and then I have a peanut butter and jelly later, and then I have a motherfucking French toast sandwich. Like, you know, switch it up, bro. Like, don't do it all in one. Don't gang bang the movie now. Mainly, I just wanted to see my boy Toby. And Toby and Andrew barely got 30 minutes of screen time put together, dude. The movie's pacing was way too quick, making scenes feel less important than they really were, and the problems were resolved a bit too quick to seem like they were even big problems in the first place. It was a good movie with even greater hype, but the story was just too much for the time they had given us. I gotta say, I personally really like this movie, and as a Spider-Man nerd, I fucking love it. As for Sony, they should have taken heed from the film. With great power comes great responsibility. Sony, you are undisciplined and you try to fit all of this storyline, action, and important things into a 2.5-hour flick. I'd have to rate this movie 7 oh boy yeahs out of 10. Oh boy, yeah. I can't let the nostalgia, you know, take me all the way. As a story, it was just too rushed. I love Toby though, you feel me? I love Spidey, and that's why, since you guys weren't able to, you know, put enough attention in detail, I gotta tick off 3 points. It's funny, action-packed, and it's a great flick for the whole family, man. Spider-Man No Way Home will definitely find its way into my home as soon as it's ready. You know, I'm finna cop that shit on YouTube, wherever it's at. I need to own that movie, you feel me? Hopefully I can show my kids this when Jacob Sartorius is the next generation Spider-Man. I could be like, nah, this ain't it, Chief. Spider-Man No Way Home, great movie. I suggest you guys go see it if you haven't. Drop a comment and let me know what you guys thought about the movie. This has been your boy, Natiboi. Tell me if you guys like the movie reviews. I think I'm gonna change up my channel. Eventually, it's not gonna be just gaming. It's gonna be a lot of different things. This is one of the new things I'm trying. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, smash that like up above, drop a comment down below. I'll see you all next video. Hey.